I am Joseph, the son of Jacob to his favorite wife Rachel. My father loved me so much because I was his son at his old age. I love him and my brother so much. However, there's a certain gap between me and my brothers. I could feel that they didn't like me. They kind of hate me, maybe because they knew my father favored me more than they. One day, I had a dream. In my dream, my brothers and I were binding sheaves. Their sheaves gathered around mine and bowed to my sheaf. The next day, I told my brothers about it, and they were not happy to hear my dream. They became more jealous of me. They hated me more. Their hatred toward me became stronger when our father Jacob made me a colorful coat. They said among themselves, "Our father has never made us a colorful coat like that." They hated me even more, except my younger brother Benjamin. One day, my father asked me to check my older brothers in the field and see how they were doing. I was very happy to do the errand my father told me to do so. Perhaps my brothers were already hungry, and they would be glad to receive me as I was also bringing food for them. Unfortunately, when I found them tending our father's flock in the valley of Dothan, they were disgusted to see me. As I was approaching, I could sense the danger that awaited me, but I just ignored it. I shouldn't be scared. They were my brothers, and brothers were supposed to love and trust each other. To my dismay, I felt their angry touch on my tender arms. They mocked the coat I was wearing. They're calling me a dreamer, ambitious. Then they held me even tighter and cast me to the dry pit. I cried. I begged them to stop hurting me. As I was laid on that dark pit, I heard their bitter feelings towards me. Then I heard their scariest plan. They said, "Let's sell him to the merchants going to Egypt and tell our father that Joseph was killed by a wild animal." I was shaking. I begged them not to, but they wouldn't listen to me. There, I was sold for 20 pieces of silver. As I was being taken by the merchants along the hills, I could see the tent where my father was. I cried again. I couldn't imagine the sorrow the news of my death could give to my father. And the thought of being a slave in Egypt was very scary. I knew it would be so difficult. But then, I decided to trust the God of my father. I trusted that God would take care of me as long as I remained faithful to me. In Egypt, I became a slave in the house of Potiphar, an officer of the king. I work as hard as I can. I pray to God every day for courage and strength. With the help of God, I did my job as a slave very well. Potiphar liked me and trusted me. He made me ruler over his house. But one day, the wife of Potiphar said she liked me and wanted me to sleep with her. I said no. I couldn't do any bad things like that against my God. Then I ran away from her. She was very angry with me. She told a lie to Potiphar, so I was put to prison. It was very hard to live in prison, but I was not dismayed. I continued to pray to God and ask Him to be with me. And God was with me. He never left me. He found a way for me to be free from the prison. To make the story short, the king had a strange dream that no one could interpret. God helped me to interpret the king's dream. I told him that his dream meant that there would be 7 years of good harvest in Egypt, but after that, 7 years will be 7 years of famine. I told him that he needed to store food during the good harvest and to prepare for the 7 years of famine. The king made me the governor of Egypt. I was very happy and thanked the Lord for saving me. Then the 7 years of famine came. There were little food in the countries. Even the people from other places, including my brothers, came to Egypt to buy food. When my brothers came to buy food from me, they didn't recognize me. Oh, I wanted them to know that the governor of Egypt was the brother they sold some years ago. I had to hold my emotion and waited for the right time to tell them the truth. Then came the right time. When I saw that they were changed, I told them I was Joseph. They were sorry about what they did. I forgave them because I love them. I told them, please, do not fight and do not blame yourselves. It was not you who sent me here, but God. We hugged each other for the first time after many lonely years. I told them to bring our father Jacob to Egypt and that we would live together. My brothers did me wrong, but I thank God because He taught me to continue to love them despite the wrongs they did to me. God help me to forgive them. The Bible is right when it says in Ephesians 4 verse 32, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, and God forgives us also. Just like me, I believe that you can forgive those who have done you wrong. Just be loving and forgiving. I am Joseph, the son of Jacob. Thank you for listening.